Hey YouTube, this is me just doing a housekeeping vid. I don't have this all quite as planned out as my previous ones. I'm just gonna talk for a little bit. The two major things I've realized, I never really explained the Bill Cipher, Le Phantom boss fights or worlds, just said why they were really, really cool. So I'm gonna go into that first. I think I'm gonna do Bill Cipher as the first of the two. The way I imagine him as being his secret boss fight in the sub quest. Like he could appear in the Dive to the Heart because that is in the realm of dreams. That is his not responsibility. That's more of his area. And he just says, "Hey, I need these three journals. You find them. I'll help you." And that would be kind of the deal. And you would do it, and he would play with the closed captioning and make them different words. The only issue I have that though is that there is the American with Disabilities Act, and if Bill messed with the closed captioning for Kingdom Hearts 3, they could get in some trouble with that. So I would like the closed captioning, but there might be something. Anyway, and you would find the three journals in like hidden away chests in various worlds, and then you would once you get them, that'd be great. He's like, "Oh, great, thank you." Da, da, da. Then you go find Ven, and you see Bill's shadow following you when you do it. Sora doesn't, but you, the player, do. And when Sora finds Ven, Bill takes him over. And then you have to fight a possessed Ven. And he would have his Ven would have a birth by sleep setup, probably one of the more powerful ones with the shot locks and all of that. I would just like to put in that in Gravity Falls, Bill refers to everyone on the wheel by their name on the wheel. For example, he almost never refers to Dipper as Dipper or Pines. He usually calls him Pine Tree. And then Mabel was almost exclusively referred to as Shooting Star. Zeus question mark, etc. That's why they're the only ones confirmed so far. Anyway, so Bill would do that for Sora. I don't know what Sora's name is, or would be Heart, possibly. And then in the middle, so back to the boss fight. In the middle of fighting Ven, Sora could then dive into Ven, and then you kind of have this thing, kind of a tag team boss fight, really, where Bill would then go into Sora and use the setup you used when you entered the room, and then you would have to use Ven's, and then vice versa. Bill would be back in Ven, you'd be back in Sora. Bill could try to take over someone like Goofy or Donald. I don't know if it would work out that well. And then when you whittle him down enough, it would be kind of like Sephiroth, and like the actual episode Dreamscapers, where he just kind of says, "Okay, cool, you guys did a really great job, but this isn't the end of it, and I'm just leaving because you're putting up more than a fight than I thought." And then the secret ending, which you can only get if you do this boss fight, is him talking to the next villain, because in Gravity Falls, he's playing a longer game, though we're not sure what. And I would like for it to be at least similar here. Moving on to Le Phantom. Again, I've gone into it before about basically why Le Phantom is really cool and why Phantom Manor is really cool and terrifying. And I think they could do a lot, especially if they play it like a horror movie or something. Like actually play up a less existential scare factor, because it can get kind of creepy there, with possession and all that. Anyway, so Sora would die more or less when he arrives. Le Phantom would then possess the body and would try to leave. Sora's stuck as a ghost, and Goofy realizes something is up, but he can't exactly prove it. You could even maybe you can even see Le Phantom's soul when you walk by mirrors, so he's constantly trying to destroy them, and without being suspicious, because for whatever reason, he can't leave yet. And Sora's body can't also wield the Keyblade because Sora's not there anymore. I mean, I guess he would kind of have Ven, so I guess Ven and Roxas and Xion and maybe even Vanitas could have to get kicked out too, so you would see their souls wandering around and have to team up with them. Melanie at this point is a ghost, and she doesn't want Le Phantom to win and doesn't want him to basically due to everything else, like what happened to Thunder Mesa with everyone turning into ghosts and being trapped there by his will. So she teams up with Sora to try to fix it and get him back into his body. They can meet a couple of different ghosts. I mean, there's a couple of the major ones that are just kind of always there, like Great Caesar's ghost and so on. Yeah, that's an actual ghost. But you also have Constance, Leota, and the Hatbox Ghost. And depending, we could also do with Master Gracie, who is the Picture of Dorian Gray character, or with the Ghost Host, who is the narrator. And they usually kind of fuse the two, but considering how the narrator is also committed suicide and has the axe, and it's easier just to kind of make the narrator Master Gracie in regards to merchandise and so on. Anyway, so Constance, though, could be a mid-level boss. I'm not entirely sure what her motivation would be, because her motivation in life is to get rich. She wants money, she wants power, she wants what her husband can get her as she moves higher and higher up the social chain. So her being a ghost actually just, she loses everything. And it could be anger over that. But what I like about Constance is she's not axe crazy. She's completely under control. And if she loses her motivation, then they could just turn her axe crazy. You know, just like, I'm going to kill you because I have an axe. And that's not quite as fun as the con woman that's up there in the attic now. So I don't know exactly how they could play with her. I can see her power-wise being more of a mid-level boss because she doesn't have that much power over the mansion. Also I want to see Ramsley. He was the best part of the movie. Anyway, so her motivation stuff would need to be really worked out. I would love to see her in full-on con woman mode and try to convince Sora that maybe Melanie is lying or something, but I don't know. And then Hatbox Ghost again has to be around there somewhere. Rumor is the Guillermo del Toro movie has him as being the villain. And he's got a really creepy look on his face. So I can see where that's coming from. But with him being the Hatbox Ghost and his head in a hat box, and that would tie him a bit more maybe into Constance. So maybe he gives backstory, or he was her partner in crime. I don't know. With it being more of a horror thing, Phantom Manor could be a bit more of a puzzle world. Not as annoying as Atlantica or anything like that. But just to you have to kind of constantly out what you want to get somewhere before Le Phantom does. It would need some playing around because you don't want to get annoying and you want to be able to leave, so I don't know. But to play it a bit more like that, and then when you do get into the boss battle against Le Phantom, since Le Phantom would be in Sora's body, or he would abandon Sora's body at this point, and then you're both in ghost form, it could be a puzzle boss there too. And then in the end, Sora can eventually manage to completely get rid of all the evil ghosts, Constance, Le Phantom, possibly Hattie, Ramsley, etc. And then all the other ghosts could either stay there and move on, with Sora taking Madame Leota to try to help them against the Nording. Because if they need lots of help, they don't know what's going on, they don't know what he needs, having a literal seer would be able to help them out tremendously. A Final Fantasy character I didn't put in earlier because I completely forgot about him, but he needs to be there, is Final Fantasy 13 Sid. Now, I'm going to do some spoilers for 13, so, I don't know, just skip ahead so you see the pictures change to something that's very clearly not Final Fantasy 13. So to give a little backstory for Sid, this is Final Fantasy 13, so the Sid there is named Sid Raines. He's been in Cocoon for a while, and he's realized the fal'Cie are evil, and they're the ones running Cocoon, and he wants to stop them in some way, but before he manages to do so, the fal'Cie capture him and turn him into a l'Cie, who has a focus of destroying Cocoon. The fal'Cie are more or less gods, and the l'Cie are the people who do their bidding. And if they do their bidding, they get turned to a crystal and live forever. If they don't do their bidding, they go around destroying everything because they're frustrated and they don't know why. So as his focus is completely against what he wanted, because it is, again, destroying Cocoon, he tries to kill Lightning and her companions. It doesn't work. He manages to warn them about what's going on vaguely, and then he gets crystallized, but he can't. So him telling them that causes them to move forward and destroy Cocoon, so that's why he gets crystallized. Yeah, he's not that happy. Eventually, he does submit to being a lessee, and he's not happy about it. And his old allies kind of go up against him, and he manages to convince them to kill him because he figures that's the only way out. And it's really horrible. I mean, you don't see anything, but you know what's going on, and you see him like that, and you know how much he does not want to do it. And so this guy needs to get redemption and a win somewhere, because he's just got tragedy written all over him. And because of the whole issues with identity and what he wants to do with what he has to do, it's really easy to put him in as being a Nort. He could be either a test victim or one of the hidden ones of a Xehanort, but he does not want to be one. He very much does not want to be one, and he's a constant struggle, and he could really go either way. And it would be interesting to get him in that way, and to get his redemption with finally being able to throw off being a Xehanort at some point and free himself and go back to being Sid. Or I guess they would have to call him Reigns, because we already have Sid Highwind. So, alright, so moving on. After that, it's a bunch of worlds, which I just thought would be cool, but I either forgot to put them in or they don't have much support. So I'm just going to more or less kind of just list them. Toy Story, because I think it just, again, they always do a lot of fun with shrinking. If you see the Toy Story 3 game, it is a lot of fun. You play around as the toys there. And if they could do something similar to that, it would be a lot of fun. And then I think for the most likely to be tied in, it would be, again, Toy Story 2 or Toy Story 3, both of which are very, very good movies. And either Lotso or Stinky Pete could be something heartless somehow. It would fit in very well. And with the final battles in both of them actually would be really, really interesting. And they were very emotional. I think, well, part of Toy Story's the emotion came from us living with those toys and seeing them accept and then everything after fighting for so long. Everyone cries. Okay, you cry. But Toy Story 2 might work out a bit better just because the final battle does take place in an airport. And I don't know how much it could tie in thematically. I don't know how much either of them could tie in thematically. I don't know. Moving on, letting go of regret. It's something. It's not quite as big, but it would be fun. San Francisco from Big Hero 6. There's, again, a lot of it could go into sacrifice and letting go and what it means to be a hero, either through Tadashi's sacrifice early on and just kind of helping Hero with it and trying to figure out what Hero's doing to cope, or to switch around a little bit, or just interacting more with Baymax. I don't know if the rest of the 6 would come in, but I hope so. They're going to have more room there, and all 6 of them are pretty cool. Monsters, Inc. That has more to do with the doors, because considering if something happens and they get cut off from the worlds again, they're trapped somewhere, using the Monsters, Inc. doors as a shortcut to travel between worlds would actually work out really, really well, considering how easy it is to go across the world in Monsters, Inc.'s big chase sequence. Next one is a kind of obscure one called Davy Crockett and the River Pirates. Davy Crockett was a movie which talks about the real, actual American hero, Davy Crockett, and, born on a mountaintop in Tennessee, all that things. So he had a TV show which tracked adventures between him being born and living in Tennessee and when he dies at the Alamo. So one of them got made into kind of a bit of a mini movie kind of thing. It's just a fun adventure story where Davy gets against Mike Fink going because of a bet, and the first person to get to New Orleans wins, and it's just a really fun, sweet kind of adventure story, and he ends up winning, but he and Mike Fink are on good terms. And the last 3 are 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, because you would be in a sub rather than swimming. Go around, find Atlantis, find mermaids. I'll put together a link of the ride and a couple of things, just because they have done some stuff with 20,000, and it is, from what I understand, a pretty good movie, and it holds up reasonably well as an adventure. But, there's not much there. It really is not much there, but it would just be kind of fun. Swiss Family Robinson, because as a second to the last world, because the story is about a family who gets trapped on an island. And if Sora arrives there, as other people do tend to do at times, it could remind him of Destiny Islands, just like, this is what I need to do before I go on and beat Xehanort or something. And the last one is a movie called The Rocketeer. It's a particularly obscure one, although it is more recent, which involves a test pilot finding a secret project to get people to fly, and then the Nazis are also trying to get it, and they have a spy, and it takes place in Hollywood, and there's Zeppelins, and Mafia are also after it. But it's a really fun movie. It honestly is. It, again, just falls into the whole, this would be a lot of fun to see. I don't know, again, how they could work Xehanort in. I honestly do not know how they could work Xehanort in. But it would be fun. Okay, I'm going to hope you guys have fun. I'm going to get this in during all of the E3 madness today, because I want to try to beat the gun to the big Square Enix conference, or even the Sony conference. So yeah, honestly, I hope you guys have fun with E3, and I'll see you later. Bye.